What's up, guys? Danman here. So we are on the Pioneer server. It is official. People were given the green light that we can make some content videos now regarding some content that's inside of the Pioneer server. I wanted to go over kind of some key areas that are coming to the game. Just a disclaimer, though, that this is all still in testing and that the original content that I'm showing you here might change when it actually goes live. Just this is kind of a baseline to show you where things stand at the moment. So going over the faction talents in our Resonating Hall, we have a new bar here above our heroes showing the faction talents. Each faction has unique abilities and upgrades. I'll go over each one individually and kind of give my synopsis as to where I think things stand as far as power. I've reset these and kind of done some testing a couple times. So yeah, it's a lot to get into. Let's get into it. Light bearers. So right off the bat, now when it says the prime carrier, what it means is it's actually going to put a tile into your maps, an actual lit up tile, and when you put a hero onto that tile, they're the ones that gain the benefits. So, Prime Carrier, the character is positioned on the talent buff tile. Prime Carrier uses the ultimate to summon a shadow that casts the ultimate again. The shadow inherits Prime Carrier's 60% attack and 100% of their other stats, along with an extra 12 penetration. This is for light bearers. That's your first unlock. Then we move on to HP and attack when you own 4 light bearer heroes. Then we go to haste. Then we go to attack. Then we have physical and magical defense. Then we have shadow inherits prime carrier 60% to 65% attack. Then we have shadow gains an additional 12 to 14 points of penetration. Then we have attack percentage. Then we have more physical and magic defense. Then we have the prime carrier and their shadow's ultimate damage is increased by 20%. Then we have more stats increase of attack and physical and magical defense. Now this is stage 1. So once we go through stage 1, you have stage 2. And these go up to stage 4. So let's go over stage 2. Stage 2, HP and attack. Shadow inherits prime carrier 65% to 70% attack. Shadow gains an additional 14 to 16 points penetration. We get more haste. Physical and magical defense. The prime carrier restores an additional 100 energy every time it assists or kills an enemy. Attack percentage. HP percentage. Gains 1 extra talent buff tile. And just so you're aware, like when you see the Chinese characters, this is something we're still working on with the Pioneer server. We're fixing all the bugs. We're testing things out thoroughly, making sure things are polished before they're released. So that's stage 3. Stage 4. Attack and physical and magic defense. Attack percentage. HP percentage. Haste. Shadow inherits prime carrier 70% to 75% attack. Shadow gains an additional 16 through 18 points of penetration. Attack percentage. Prime carrier and their shadow's ultimate damage increased by 20% to 25%. HP percentage. And lastly, each faction has a unique skill at the end of their tree. For light bearers, there shows as, when the prime carrier is defeated, a shadow remains and inherits the prime carrier's energy. The shadow gains 100 energy per second and will automatically cast the ultimate when its energy is full before disappearing from the battlefield. This is pretty sweet. This is one of the ones that I'm really looking forward to. I think it's going to help light bearers a lot, at least you know, you've maxed out your faction tree, and now they're going to get essentially an extra ultimate as they die. Yeah, it's definitely one of the better ones too. I'm going to go through each one of these now. I'm rating this one as one of the higher ones. This one and Hypogean Celestial Units, they have probably the best two. Mauler also is pretty sweet. So let's just get through them. So Wilders, we're looking at the Prime Carrier loses 50% of their max HP and gains a permanent shield that can absorb up to 50% damage when a battle starts. The main hero becomes unaffected while the shield is active and gains an additional 60 attack speed. If the Prime Carrier uses ranged attacks, their attack range will be extended to cover the entire battlefield, and some skill ranges will also increase accordingly. Then we go into some HP and attack speed, attack percentage, physical and magic defense, gains an additional 60 to 65 attack speed while the shield is active, the amount of HP lost at the start of your battle remains unchanged, and you can gain a permanent shield that can absorb up to 50 to 55% damage. Attack percentage, physical and magic defense, increase the Prime Carrier's normal attack damage to enemies more than 3 tiles away by 20%. Attack and physical and magic defense. The next stage, HP and attack percentage, attack speed, gains an additional 65 to 70 attack speed while the shield is active. The amount of HP lost at the start of the battle remains unchanged, and you gain a permanent shield that can absorb up to 55 to 60% damage. Attack percentage, physical and magic defense. Prime Carrier increases the main hero's attack speed by 3 every 3 seconds up to 30. HP percentage. You gain 1 extra talent buff tile, so now you can have 2 heroes getting this benefit. Now, the last stage for Wilders, the attack, physical, and magic defense tile. Attack percentage, HP percentage, attack speed, gain an additional 70 through 75 attack speed while the shield is active. The amount of HP lost at the start of the battle remains unchanged, and you can gain a permanent shield that can absorb up to 60 to 65% damage. More attack percentage. Increase the Prime Carrier's normal attack damage to enemies more than 3 tiles away by 20% to 25%. HP percent increase. And lastly, the Wilder skill is Prime Carriers fires an extra projectile at the weakest enemy, dealing 55% damage when performing a normal attack during this skill's shield duration. Sorry guys, tongue twisting here. Prime Carrier fires an extra projectile at the weakest enemy, dealing 55% damage when performing a normal attack during this skill's shield duration. So this is pretty sweet. I think it's actually one of the more lackluster ones though compared to the others, but you know what, they're all pretty unique, and they all have their way that you're going to be able to theory craft and use these accordingly. Maulers. The Prime Carrier will be teleported to the area with the most adjacent enemies at the start of the battle, gaining a permanent shield that can absorb up to 40% damage. They will immediately deal 160% damage to all enemies within 1 tile and continue to do so every 5 seconds. Then you get more HP and tech, energy on hit, attack percentage, physical and magic defense. After teleporting, gain a permanent shield that absorbs up to 40% to 45% damage. Immediately and every 5 seconds thereafter, deal 160% to 170% damage to all enemies within 1 tile radius. Attack percent. Physical and magic defense. Grants an extra 30 life drain to this damage. And more HP and physical and magic defense. On to the next stage, we have HP and attack. Attack, physical, and magic defense. After teleporting, gain a permanent shield that absorbs up to 45% to 50% damage. Immediately and every 5 seconds thereafter, deal 170 to 180 damage to all enemies within 1 tile radius. Attack percent. Physical and magic defense. Prime Carrier is unaffected during the first 8 seconds of battle. That's a good one. Energy on hit. HP. Gain your extra talent buff tile. Attack, physical, and magic defense. Attack percentage. HP percentage. HP and energy on hit. After teleporting, gain a permanent shield that absorbs up to 50% to 55% damage. Immediately and every 5 seconds thereafter, deal 180% to 190% damage to all enemies within a 1 tile radius. Attack percent. Grants an extra 30 to 40 life drain to this damage. HP percent. And, lastly, your hero skill. Prime Carrier is immune to the first fatal blow they take. They are then immune to all damage and become unaffected for 5 seconds. So essentially, you're getting a Brutus ultimate. That's pretty sweet for Maulers. It's going to, again, you're going to be theory crafting. Everyone's going to be theory crafting different builds and how this is going to fit into playstyles, because this ultimately, these faction talents are going to be changing the meta in a big way. On to Graveborn. At the start of the battle, the Prime Carrier selects another ally in the rearmost position as the Sacrifice. The Sacrifice loses up to 5% of the current HP every second and heals the Prime Carrier for an amount equal to 100% of the lost HP. Additionally, the Prime Carrier's attack, physical defense, and magic defense are increased by an amount equal to 16% of the corresponding stats of the surviving Sacrifice. Graveborn. HP and attack, defense penetration, attack percentage, HP percentage. The amount of healing is equivalent to the lost HP of 100% to 110%. The Prime Carrier stat increase is equivalent to 16 to 17% of the corresponding Sacrifice stat. Attack percent, HP percent. Prime Carriers assist or kill a non-summoned enemy to restore 80% HP and permanently increase 10% attack and 10% physical and magic defense. Attack, physical, and magic defense. Up to the next stage, we have more HP and attack percentage. Attack, physical, and magic defense. The amount of healing is equivalent to the lost HP of 110% to 120%. The Prime Carrier stat increase is equivalent to 17 to 18% of the corresponding Sacrifice stat. Defense penetration. Physical and magic defense. 80% of the Sacrifice's lost HP per second will be converted into a shield for the Prime Carrier. Attack percent. HP percent. Gain your extra talent buff tile. And on to the last stage, we have attack percent, HP percent, defense penetration. The amount of healing is equivalent to lost HP of 120% to 130%. Prime Carrier stat increase is equivalent to 18 to 19% of the corresponding Sacrifice stat. Attack percent, Prime carriers assist or kill a non-summon enemy to restore 80% to 100% HP and permanently increase 10% to 12% attack and 10% to 12% physical and magic defense. HP percent, and lastly, Greyborn's skill is marks the rearmost enemy as a sacrifice for 15 seconds when a battle starts. During this time, the sacrifice loses HP each second, up to 60% of the prime carrier's attack. If the sacrifice is defeated, the healthiest remaining enemy becomes the new sacrifice for the rest of the marked duration. So essentially, it's a burn. Pretty sweet for Greyborn. On to the Celestials and Hypogenes. Prime Carrier deals 120% true damage to enemies in the most crowded one-tile area and stuns them for 1.5 seconds every 6 seconds, starting from the 6th second. So after 6 seconds, every 1.5 seconds, you're looking at a stun and some true damage, while the Prime Carrier remains in battle. So this is while your character that's on the buff tiles are alive. Looking at HP and attack percent, crit, attack, and again, just to note, this is the main one with crit. Physical and magic defense deals 120 to 130% true damage to hit enemies, stuns the hit enemy for 1.5 to 1.7 seconds, attack percent, physical and magic defense, restores 40% HP for all allied prime carriers for every enemy hit, HP, attack, physical, and magic defense. On to the next stage. We're looking at HP and attack percent. Attack percent, 130 to 140% true damage. Stun again for 1.75 to 2 seconds. Crit, physical and magic defense. Restores 16 energy for all allied prime carriers for enemy on hit. Excuse me. Restores 16 energy for all allied prime carriers for every enemy hit. Not just energy on hits, for every enemy hit. Attack percent. HP percent. And this... it's not your just end bonus yet. Let's read this. Gains 1 extra dark talent buff tile. The ally placed on this talent buff tile gains a different ability. 3 seconds into the battle and 6 seconds thereafter, the buffed ally creates a black hole that lasts for 3 seconds. Then casts it at the area with the most enemies, dealing 30% magic damage to enemies within 1 tile and pulls them towards the center. So essentially you're getting an Aeron buff to your Hypogene Celestial units that are on the buff tile. Attack and physical defense. Attack, HP, crit, 140% to 150% true damage to the hit enemies. Stuns, again now, up to 2 to 2.25 seconds. Attack percentage. Restores 40% to 50% HP for all allied prime carriers for every enemy hit. HP. And last but not least, we have the skill of, if both prime carriers remain in the battle, their effects merge. And starting 3 seconds into the battle, they release an attack with both original effects every 3 seconds, with the radius extending to 2 tiles. So this is pretty insane. Excuse me, that's pretty insane. Radius extending to 2 tiles. Now you're getting both effects of the pull and the stun. You're getting the true damage, you're getting the stun, and you're getting the Aeron pull every 3 seconds in the battle, starting from the beginning of the battle, with the extra damage. If you can have 2 Celestial and Hypogene units stay alive. So yeah, these are the faction talents. Super looking forward to this. This is going to change the meta a lot. It's going to change things up. A lot of theory crafting. You know what? We've already had some videos going over the new 3 heroes, so I will kind of leave that up to them. I made my own little version, but there's a couple names out there. Zebo, Vulcan. They've made some killer videos on some content, so just kind of pushing out some things for some guildies and just some content that I know hasn't been released yet. So yeah, stay tuned for the next one. I got some Honor Duel videos coming up, and yeah, like and subscribe, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you.